Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome. It's us. Welcome to the final episode, finale, some might say, of the Fall of the Ashen Throne here on Entropy Emporium. We'll get into who we are and who we're playing and all that good stuff in just a second. But in the meantime, I'm going to hand it over to Kian real quick.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Entropy Emporium. Thanks for coming to hang out tonight. A couple of quick channel things before we get started. First and foremost, we're raising money for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. It is very obvious why this is important work. In light of recent events, it's going to continue to be important work. Pay attention to the world around you. Be aware of what's going on. We ask that if you cannot donate, continue to advocate. It's going to be important. Remember that community is what's going to save us. So stick with each other and support however you can. The other thing is that if you like what we do, if you want to come hang out, if you want to be part of our shows, come join our Discord server. We have something really exciting coming up that we're going to be announcing pretty soon, and you're going to hear about it first on Discord. But definitely come hang out. It's a lot of just yelling about how amazing everybody is and how much we love each other. It's a little bit of bullying, but that also comes out of love. So definitely come see what we are all about. That is all I have for channel announcements for now. So I'll hand it back to you, William.
I will say, if there's ever been bullying, I haven't seen it. So
I don't want to fucking hear it.
Hello, hi, welcome to Fall of the Ashen Throne, the final episode, the finale. We've done this 5 times before tonight, and now we're doing it for the last time tonight. Probably, who knows what the future may hold, but yeah, we'll go around. I guess I'll start things off. I'll say, hi, my name is Will. This is a political game, a political intrigue, low fantasy question mark D&D game. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't caught the rest of it, I think it should be pretty straightforward, probably. Yeah, we'll go through it. I'm your storyteller for this evening. I'll be playing everybody that is not one of our fine ex-Crownsguard members / ex-Royal Family members. With that being said, I will turn it over to Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. I use he, him pronouns. Tonight I'm going to be playing Sir Telemachus Bast. Also uses he, him pronouns. I'm not going to say former left hand of the king. Once and future left hand of the king? Who knows? I don't have a future, according to a woman who plays cards for a living, so we'll see.
Anita.
Woof. Hey gang, Anita here. Anita uses they, she pronouns, playing Princess Hestia Jourdain, ex-royal family, disrespectful, the princess of Vyloria, actually the last princess of Vyloria. Yikes, gang. That's me. That's who I'll be playing. And I'll pass it over to Anna.
That is me. I am Anna. Most places on the internet, I am Archival Dust Bunny, but tonight I am playing Lady Liv Cascoon, the Peregrine. Current Crown's Guard, I think we can still count it. We have the prince back. We have the princess. Current Crown's Guard. Former personal bodyguard to Princess Helena, the eldest princess, who unfortunately did not make it through the coup. Whoops. But we're trying to make that better now. So we will see how it goes.
Garnet, you're muted.
I was trying to tell you that you were muted, and then I was muted.
All right, this is off to a great start. So here we go. I am Garnet. I will be playing Lady Amiga Ravenswell, current Crown's Guard. I have 2 of my royal children back, so I'm going to count it as I am Crown's Guard, Witch of the Realm, and I guess surrogate mother, since theirs has been gone for a minute. I'm gonna put that boy back on the throne where he belongs. And hopefully I won't die in the process. Because I really love this character and I'll be super sad about it, but it is what it is.
And that just leaves me. Hello, everybody. My name is Kian. My pronouns are they, them. I am playing Sir Morgan Alcazar. Never done anything wrong a day in his life. That's all I got. Never done anything wrong.
Interesting. What interesting energy to lead things off here.
I do have to publicly apologize to you, William. I thought you were going to say that you had never bullied anybody earlier when we were talking about the Discord, so I was automatically disagreeing with you.
I was kind of maybe a little bit intimating that I've never done anything wrong.
In that case, I don't want to fucking hear it, but...
All right. Well, that being said, I think where we are going to rejoin our Crown's Guard, getting right into it in the interest of time for this evening, is in the dark, poorly lit, crowded storage cellar under the Cheapside Tavern known as the End of the Road. Last we had left off, some of our players, some of our characters here had been reunited with Prince Hector Jourdain in said cellar, and learned of his fate following the night of the coup. You learned that he did his best to defend himself, and then when he couldn't anymore, leapt from a window in the castle, fell, managed to crawl away somewhat to safety, where he was discovered by one Lyle Godfrey, who helped him to reach the tavern that you now find yourselves in, and wherein the revolutionary group, the Heart of Valoria, aka sometimes known as the Heartbreakers, nursed him back to health and took care of him after Lyle saved him. And some of the boxes and the crates and barrels and things like that have been moved away and have been cleared away to make room for a table that has been set up. It has a few maps and things like that spread across it, a few documents as well. And you're mid-discussion with the people that you have now formally been introduced to, members, organizers behind the Hearts of Valoria. A strong, handsome man, despite his humble origins, by the name of Kieran, and a mysterious woman with long, flowing black curls who seems to read the cards, if her predictions are to be believed, by the name of Asha. You are mid-discussion about the plan for tomorrow. Kieran, arms sort of crossed over his broad chest, points down at one of the crudely drawn maps and says, "These tunnels haven't been used in quite a long time, but they should get you right into the scullery. They're left over from the castle's construction hundreds and hundreds of years ago. They were originally carved out by the servants, kept secret."
And you think you can make enough noise to provide cover for us?
That I know we can do. Just because they aren't all here right now doesn't mean that the hearts aren't many.
I think we have allies that can probably help as well, she says, looking towards Hestia.
He is standing a bit of a ways away from the table. Like, back to the corner, does not trust the surroundings, and is watching silently. Has been, I think, like, Amika might be able to tell that, like, upon seeing Hector, visibly, like, relaxed, but still wary, and hasn't really said anything since coming into the room. But will sort of like look to Liv and say, I suppose we'd have to ask our noblewoman friend about that. I suppose I could do so before the night is out.
Might be better to send a messenger rather than strolling out yourself. We need to prepare for battle.
We do have folks that we could send.
So the hearts of Valoria are going to risk their lives to put Hector on the throne. You are anti-monarchists, right? Is there something I'm missing here?
We are. And again, Huron kind of like, once again, sort of crosses his arms over his broad chest and like sort of raises his jaw a little bit and says, I've had enough conversations with your brother. He's made enough assurances that I feel that we all feel that this is the right step.
Can I do an insight check on that and see how genuine that is?
Yeah, go for it.
It's a 23.
Yeah, it seems very genuine. You obviously don't know the specifics of what assurances or promises Hector has maybe made, but I mean, you know Hector, and he's nothing if not a little bit of a bleeding heart.
Looking over the maps, does Telemachus recognize these escape routes? Does he have any thoughts on how efficacious they would be to get in? Does he know any others?
I think you remember hearing over the years rumors and like stories about the tunnels that are being described. You never knew like where they were because they were never discovered and they were kind of dismissed as rumors, but every so often you would like a bit of intelligence would reach you of one of the the scullery workers or the servants or someone talking about like the passages that even the families, even the nobles don't know about, that were built by the servants during the castle's construction.
Glad to finally confirm that.
I guess the only real way to confirm them is to take them, try them out. So, Hector, I think we'll speak up at this point and say, so, sister, you write a letter to your ally?
Casty would nod.
Wonderful. Well then, I suppose that is the plan. We disrupt the coronation. It's revealed that I'm alive. That both Hestia and I are alive, so the failure is undeniable. And then my claim cannot be overridden.
And just to be clear, before we go strolling in, Godfrey is taken alive or less so?
I can't say that I feel much sympathy for him, but I do think that we should try to keep him alive, if only to learn the extent of other people's involvement, the names of those that he worked with and conspired with. We know he
Understood.
didn't achieve this on his own.
So afterwards, will there be a trial, or can we just put his head on a pike?
We will see what he can tell us. I mean, there will be a trial. Of course there will be a trial. Everyone deserves a trial. So, then I suppose that's all that's left is for us to get our rest.
If
If-
I may, Your Majesty,
Of
You-
course.
do you care to inform us what promises it is that you've made in your time here?
I don't. I mean, I'm not certain that this is the time or the place, but I do believe that the people of Valoria should have a say in laws and missives and proclamations that affect them. So, I've offered them a seat at the table. An advisory role is in my ear as the king. To start with.
To start,
I mean, and he looks around. You came here. You saw the same part of the city that I saw, that I hadn't seen until my broken body was dragged here. People are suffering. I strove to keep my eyes open, and I was still so blind to what was happening in our city. People need help, and we owe it to them if they put their trust and their faith into us.
so you promised to help them. How is the crown to help them?
Well, we have deep coffers. We can rebuild these parts of the city that have been left to rot. We can improve the flow of our waterways so that they actually reach this part of the city.
not to put too fine a point on it, but I don't think this is something we need to belabor. The people are a weapon that we will be using. And it does behoove you to keep a weapon oiled and well maintained.
Kieran bristles a little bit at that. I think he kind of like tenses. You see him tense, and I think he would say, these people aren't weapons. The people.
Don't take exception to that. Everyone here is a weapon in their own way. The fact that I'm recognizing it is broader recognition than you've received so far. That was not dismissive. Leave it to a peasant to not recognize that.
He opens his mouth, and I think Hector is gonna interject.
Better a weapon than a pawn, or worse, leverage.
Or perhaps allies. We could call each other allies.
Yes, thank you. Nothing that we do today is possible with any piece of this puzzle missing. We all have to come together to secure the future of Valoria so that it doesn't fall into chaos, and so that more people don't suffer and die. Right. Then I think it's best if we conclude this war council and everybody takes their rest. Astia, if you wouldn't mind writing that letter to Lady Blackpike.
Hestia will take out a piece of parchment, scribble down the time and location that they're needed, like that their forces are needed to cause a hullabaloo, and then sign her name, like no more detail, like in the letter. And I think she'll I think she is going to hand it specifically to Hector. And she'll, as she's handing it off, she'll say, this is really you, right? It's not some illusion or trick, or you haven't been brainwashed or something. You're my brother, right?
Yeah, of course I am. Have I said something so outlandish? We should care for the people of our city. We should do better for them. You can make an insight
she's
check
gonna
if you
hug
want.
him.
Okay.
Yeah, first an insight check.
Okay, go for it, yeah.
I don't think it's gonna. I think she's gonna believe him because she's in a vulnerable state, and also the -1.
It does make things more difficult. So that does make
yeah,
things more
that's a
difficult.
12 insight check.
Okay. Yeah, with a 12 insight check, I mean, yeah. Hector has always kind of been this guy he's just never been in a position to do more than like go off at, family dinner about this stuff, and like your dad would like roll his eyes, and other people would like listen politely, but it's always kind of been right, like Hector, he is too soft. Hector, he cares too much. And now he is just talking about it in more certain terms because he's about to presumably take the throne. But I mean, it's the same things that like made him popular, right? Like in the time, in like the week or days after your father died, people were talking, and the reception of Hector as the incumbent king was very positive.
She's gonna hug him. I thought you were dead.
Well, I thought you were dead. I also thought that I was dead for a while there. And he shakes his head very sadly. Elena. But
You're sheltering with people who said awful things about Father. You know that, right?
Hestia, Father was... I loved him. I mean, he was Father. But he wasn't. He was a complicated man. He never tried to see beyond the Ashen Throne. And I'm not interested in being a king like that. There's a world beyond the throne, sister.
Hestia is going to let go of him. And she is not going to get any rest in the middle of like a heartbreaker sanctuary. She is gonna go find... She honestly wants a drink, so she's probably gonna go find a bar. Gonna like...
Well, you are in a bar.
Not this bar. She does not want to drink from this bar. So she'll be incognito, try to be subtle about it, and go find some place to cool.
Okay.
Is still staying like around so that when the time comes to like go with the gang, we're ready.
How stealthy is Hestia being about it?
Not stealthy at all.
That's a great question.
Like not to anyone in the vicinity, but Hestia would like hood up like upon getting out on the street and like move not quietly, but like not move like a noble. Like wouldn't be
Bold of Hestia
broadcasting.
to think she's making it to the street.
Y'all can attempt to stop her if you want. What do you say as Hestia is trying to leave the bar?
Well, I imagine she's finding at least Liv in front of the door, and probably Telemachus leaning beside it. At the very least.
The king's that way, Crown's God.
But our plans rest on a razor's edge. If you go out and blow our cover, tomorrow is done for before we even start. I apologize, Princess. This is more important. There are drinks here.
There is no rest here.
I suggest you try to find it. Tomorrow will be a long day.
Are you going to stand here all night? Because you won't get any rest that way. And I refuse to keep company with these people. We must be allies if we must, but I cannot stand. Father just died a week ago. Right? I need a little bit of space to breathe. Is that all right with you if I have a little bit of space to fucking breathe?
Liv does not move.
Unfortunately, circumstances don't allow it.
She's gonna try to push past.
Please don't make me do this.
Do what you do.
I'm going to wait and see if they can physically restrain her before.
I mean, it doesn't sound like we're coming to blows. It doesn't sound like anybody. It doesn't sound like we're doing PvP just yet.
No.
I think we could call this maybe just like opposed. Call it opposed strength checks. I think.
Two rogues and a warlock. The best classes.
I mean, that's a good point. There are two of you standing in front of the door, it sounds like. So whichever one of you wants to roll, I'll give you advantage. There's only one Hestia. So
I think it should probably be Liv.
Okay. I do have a -1 to strength.
Same.
We're fast. We're not strong.
That's right.
true.
Shit, I wish Morgan was there.
Well, get up here, bud.
The king is downstairs. That's my
He
place.
is.
True.
That's
True.
fair.
Advantage, right?
I did give you advantage. Yep.
I rolled a 1 and a natural 20.
Hey.
Love it. Love it when that happens. What did Hestia get?
An 11.
So, I mean, you like try to push your way past, they're not budging, and unless you're willing to escalate this, it's pretty clear to you that you're not leaving through the front doors while people are awake. This isn't unusual for Hestia. This is kind of the story of your life, right? Like, you've never really been allowed to storm out of anywhere because it's not safe for you to do so.
Yeah. Never felt as trapped as I do right now.
Yeah.
Hestia will, I suppose, like, probably tries to push past and then, like, gets turned around, like, put in, like, an arm hold and, like, pushed back into the bar.
That feels very Liv. That feels like how Liv would bounce. Yes.
And will take a seat and just like look towards the exit. And she's waiting to leave when they like get out of the way.
When you sit down at the bar, I think you will hear a clunk as a mug of ale is set down in front of you. And if you look up, you would see, I think actually probably Asha, the woman with the long black hair, standing on the other side of the bar. And she kind of like nudges the drink towards you a little bit and says, "There's no need for us to be enemies, Your Highness."
So before Hester does anything crazy, Amika's
As
gonna
she is
grab.
laughing like
She's gonna
a
grab
crazy
it.
person.
And she's just gonna take a sip from it, knowing about poisons and whatnot, and then just, look, if you cannot sleep, allow me to help. She's gonna dump out half of it and just start mixing a bunch of things that are just in her pouch to make the girl sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Go rest with your brother. Please. We both need you tomorrow.
Estia is not inclined to let her guard down here, and is going to stay at the bar. With her head on a swivel.
Okay. At a certain point, there's nothing to swivel for. Everybody, takes their rest, goes to sleep. There's maybe like, I think every so often you see like a shadow slip past the window as like somebody is on watch outside of the bar. But inside it's quiet and people seem to be resting. Does anybody have anything that they want to do during the night or before we settle down?
I am going to just kind of pull Liv aside, and I do not trust the seer out of everyone here. Keep her away from the princess, please.
I will do my best. I'll let the others know as we rotate shifts.
Thank you.
It would be good not to let our guard down at all,
Yes.
at least until this is done.
One more day.
For better or worse. One more day.
And then I guess at some point I will take my rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
After healing Hector just a ton. Whatever spell slots I've got left, all go into, because I need him to walk out there looking strong and healthy, and not like he threw himself out of a window out of desperation.
It is very his wounds are largely the worst of his injuries are behind him. The period where it's like, is he gonna survive? Is he gonna be able to walk? That period is behind him. As far as letting him walk or run or whatever with like his head high, not looking like he's in pain, not showing signs of weakness, absolutely you can help him with that, and you can heal him.
Like I trust these people to do anything.
right.
I'm going over stitches, absolutely everything. And I'm fussing the whole time. Like, who did this? It doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. I'm still mad about it.
Around the time that you are finishing up, Morgan, I imagine you have been in the room this whole time.
Absolutely.
I imagine as Amika, as you are finishing up, I think Hector will say kind of quietly, could you give us some privacy, Amika?
I can, but you both need your strength for tomorrow. And that's all I'm going to say as I walk out.
And yeah, I think on that sort of like cot that he was sleeping in before, Hector is going to sort of lay down and like make enough room for Morgan to squeeze in. It's going to be a tight fit, but he clearly sort of like in a very sort of like, well, come on, kind of way.
Morgan hesitates and holds his gaze for a moment and just says, "Promise you'll stay by my side tomorrow."
I promise.
Last time you ran in a different direction. I can't keep you safe if I can't reach you.
Morgan, we
Falling out of any windows again.
jumped out of that window.
Worse.
It was a very
That's
daring
not-
escape. You
that
weren't there.
doesn't-
You didn't see it.
That doesn't make it any better.
Well, if you'd seen it and how daring it was, then I think you'd feel differently.
I'm sure I would be very impressed. Just stay by my side tomorrow. Let me do my job.
I understand. I won't go missing again.
And Morgan will climb into the bed, but will sit up and stay awake until Hector falls asleep. Staying up, keeping watch, waiting for, I would imagine, once it's been enough time, once it's time for somebody else to take watch, probably seeing if one of the Crown's Guard can making sure everything is good to go. Morgan does not feel great going to sleep because it feels like Hector's life is very precarious right now. So
Sure.
everything possible to make sure that Hector is safe and Morgan is awake for as long as possible before getting rest.
You are in bed together, and he like puts his arm around you and like pulls you close. You hear him laugh a little bit, like in your ear.
What's so funny?
I was just thinking about how similar this is to the hammock that we shared at first back on Sinarina.
It was certainly a tight fit there as well.
May I ask you a question?
Of course, Your Majesty.
But like it's just you and me.
You can always ask.
If I ran away, would you run with me? I'm not going to. I can't. But I won't. I would like to hear you say it. I would like to know that we could.
Somebody has to keep you safe and alive. And if I had it my way, you would never be more than arm's length away from me.
Thank you.
You promise you're not running away.
I'm not running away.
In the most respectful way, I don't know that Princess Hestia is ready to take the throne.
If I wanted to, I would have disappeared long before now. I thought it was an option.
Could you have left knowing that I had to stay here?
Why would you have stayed?
I didn't know you were alive. I wouldn't have known to look for you so far away.
I wasn't going to leave without you. That's not what I meant. No, I wouldn't have left you behind. What's the point in running away if I leave you behind?
You could have adventures with someone else. I'm sure there's somebody else much more grand than I am.
Possibly. But I like you.
Well, lucky for you, I like you too.
Then we should rest.
Go to sleep. I'll keep watch.
Eventually you hear his breathing change. Grows deeper. He falls asleep.
I would like to do one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan very carefully extricates themselves from the bed and sits next to it. And Morgan wears a very traditional amulet and holds it and kind of meditates. I would like to use my Rite of the Ancestors ability to ask a couple of questions about Godfrey.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
Are we within 1 mile of the castle?
It's an interesting question. I'll say yes for the purposes of this, yeah.
Okay. Is Godfrey within 1 mile of me? That's one of the questions.
Yes.
Okay. Morgan is not convinced that he is still hanging out in the city. Nobody has said anything about putting eyes on him. So Morgan asked that, and then any damage resistances and any damage vulnerabilities are my other 2 questions.
None.
Oh,
He is just a man.
that is terrifying, William. Oh, fuck. That means there's something scarier. Okay. Then
He's just a guy. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't like that.
Yeah, hit him with your car.
Then after taking the time to meditate, Morgan will get back into bed, and when it's time, go ahead and take some rest.
All right. Any other nighttime sneaks or anything? Okay. Right. Then I will say, Alex, you're making your plotting face. I'm just checking to see if
How dare you say I have a plotting face?
well, you were like doing this, so
Okay, all right. No, I was just considering if Telemachus would talk to this woman, but I don't think he will, because
Okay.
he doesn't like it when people are like, "You're a no future boy." That's rude.
that's fair. Yeah. Kind of nice to get a heads up about it, though.
I mean, yeah, we're plotting the whatever that means.
Right. That's fair. Then what I will say is, since you are not resting, since you are not sleeping, and since you are dead set on not sleeping, Hestia, you are awake when the messenger returns with Lady Blackpike's reply, folded up on a piece of parchment. And I think it's a very bleary and tired looking young man, probably like a couple years younger than you even, who like steps in and seeing you wake up would like hold it out to you and would say, "Can you make sure the prince gets this?"
She will say nothing. Staring daggers, as this is a heartbreaker. She will take the missive decisively and swiftly and just leave.
Okay. And you now have this folded up note from Lady Blackpike.
Is it addressed to the king?
I don't think it's addressed to anyone necessarily. It's not like in an envelope or like with a wax seal or anything. Like you wrote down a note on parchment and you were getting back a note on parchment.
She opens it up.
Inside, I'm not sure you know what Lady Blackpike's handwriting looks like by heart as of yet, but I think you just
She does.
see. All right, fair enough. It's definitely her handwriting then, and it's a very simple message inside that just says, "Message received. I will do my duty with the understanding that you will do yours for the good of Valoria." And then it is signed almost playfully, Queen Rosanna Blackpike. And I think that's where we're going to take a break. A little bit earlier than we normally do, but seems like a good moment of tension there. Yeah, we'll be back in about 10 short minutes. Don't go away. See you real soon. Hello, we are back. How are you? Fine here. So, you wake up the next morning. Pre-dawn, I imagine. The sun is just starting to crest. It is Coronation Day throughout Avenal, throughout Valoria. If the rumors are to be believed. And you have a plan in place. You have a plan for how to get into the castle and how to disrupt said coronation. And you received a missive in the middle of the night from one Lady Rosanna Blackpike. What, if anything, is being communicated about that now burned piece of paper?
Lady Blackpike will be ready to join the Heartbreakers to make our distraction. We're ready to go. Brother, did Amika heal you last night? Are you feeling better?
I am, though I would say, I mean, of course, no offense to Amiga's abilities and knowledge, but I would say that my generous hosts played just as much part of that as Lady Ravenswell did. And I'm in the debt for it, so...
he immediately gets a random slipper to the back of the head.
Ow. Point is, I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling much more myself, and I'm ready.
Good. She punches him in the stomach. And says, "Are you ready?"
You could feel his abs have abs, like he's just an Adonis. So he doesn't even flinch. You hurt your hand,
Like, I have a +0 to strength. But like, yeah. I know what this is.
But because he's such a good older brother, he makes a show of it. He pretends he doubles over and and gasps a little bit, Kieran is going to interject at this moment and is going to say, we'll see you to the entrance of the secret passages, and then we'll join the rest of the Outbreakers outside. I realize that we are allies of convenience more than anything in this. But if you happen to have to kill my dad, I'll get over it very quickly.
Good to know.
Well, get your things. We're burning daylight. Alright, you gear up, grabbing your things, anything you might need to bring along with you. I'm assuming nobody else has anything that they want to do before this, so I think we'll probably jump ahead just a little bit to an entrance down. Kieran is going to lead you, and I think Asha is going to get left behind in this. But Kieran is going to lead you, and he's kind of dressed, honestly, kind of similar to Liv, although his gear is clearly, not as finely made, but he's just kind of dressed in fighting leathers. He has a couple of swords at his hips. They are a little bit longer. The blades are a little bit of a different shape than Liv's. They are wider. and he has some like very simple sort of like grease paint smeared across his features in different markings, though whether they mean something or whether they're just sort of like functional camouflage, you're not really sure. But he leads you down into the riverbank and into a particularly like dry, muddy section that you kind of have to wade through, and not into the sewers, but like past the sewers and farther down the riverbed than anyone would need to travel, even if they were trying to get to the sewers. You're going deeper than anybody would need to go, basically. And at a certain point, he's kind of like looking around and fumbling a little bit, and he finally like finds a thrush mat, a mat of rushes, and like pulls it away. While it is a mat made of rushes, it also has a lot of like weeds and grass growing over it and things like that. So he kind of has to work to separate it from the bank itself. But beyond, you can see a somewhat squat, narrow stone passageway beyond. I think Hector would have to duck a little bit, but I think the rest of you would be fine if I'm remembering everybody's heights. More or less correct. And he kind of gestures for you to go ahead and says, right, we'll get to work right away as soon as the nobles and their forces show up. No one should bother you.
I would like to add that during her watch, Amika was making whatever the ye old equivalent to Molotov cocktails is to supply the Heartbreakers with.
Okay,
I'm gonna keep a couple for herself as well. But as they're walking past Kieran, she's just gonna put a bottle in his hand. She's not gonna say anything, but obviously she's explained what they're for, and she's just gonna hand him one last one and keep going.
Some alchemist fire. Very good. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And when Hector passes him, he holds out his hand, and they like clasp. You know, they do the hand clasp thing in a very manly fashion. Kieran says, "Let's make history." And Hector nods. You're entering the tunnel? Hestia?
Yeah. Hestia will... Yeah. Hestia will, like, squash the urge to spit, and unsheath the sword and activate it so they have a light source going through the dark.
You enter the tunnel, and you start heading in. You were given directions, and you saw the layout on the maps. It is a pretty much a straight shot directly back into the sculleries, and you've been shown where the entrance is. Sorry, I have a boy crying at me. Do you want to? There we go. Oh, man. Sorry, Frodo moment. So you know to basically follow the path straight back, and you just turn when it turns, and and it eventually is going to empty out at what looks like a wall. But if you push on it, and you might have to really push at it, it should swing open and give you access into like one of the backmost corners of the scullery. Probably closest to like the cold room. And true to those plans that you were shown, you follow it as it winds and twists around, and eventually it does seem to end at a solid wall. I think you can sort of see like cracks of light coming in from the other side, but it is dark otherwise.
So I think we wait here for the bells.
For the alarm bells, yeah. And yeah, you kind of hunker down for a few minutes to wait to see if the bells of warning come. And before too long that does happen, is anything happening during your waiting period, I guess? I think as you are crouched there, and the timing is maybe not great, but as you are all kind of hunkered there, Liv, I think you are aware of in the darkness, they're kind of shifting around and crouching down next to you. And it's not really possible to be private in this moment, but he says quietly, I heard about my sister. I just wanted to say that I'm sorry. And I know you did everything that you could to protect her.
I did. And I'm sorry that I failed her and you despite that. Liv puts a hand on his arm for a moment. But we have to concentrate on the day. If I let myself fall too deeply into that, I'll be useless.
Right. You're right. For the record, you didn't fail me, and you didn't fail her. Her life was better for having you in it.
All I ask is that when this is done, that I am released from the King's Guard. Estia has already promised that, but now that we have found you, I need your word as well.
Of course. Of course. Would that we could all be so lucky. And when he says that, the bells start to clang. The warning bells start to clang, and you hear a little bit of a commotion from the other side, though not a huge amount. And assuming you wait a few seconds for some of the noise to die down, though not the bells, you push at the wall, and with a grinding noise and a great deal of dust, it slides open. And you find yourself next to the cold room in the scullery of the lowest floor, but above the cellars in the castle. And you step out, and yeah, there you find yourselves. It is warm in the scullery. You're next to the cold room, so you're at kind of this weird juxtaposition as far as temperature is concerned. But looking around, you can see that it looks like this was recent. It looks like the ovens and the kitchens were recently used. Not surprising, probably, to prepare, like, the meals for the morning or something like that. But the ovens are warm. You still see that there are some utensils, bowls, etc. scattered around. Maybe some stuff still baking, even. You're not sure. But you don't see any signs of people. Though you can still hear the warning bells sounding, so that makes a certain amount of sense.
With our allies at the gate, most of the guards should be moving to the forward defenses. If we move quickly, we can probably avoid them. I think maybe we use non-lethal force where possible. We may be able to turn people to our side if they see Hector.
Yeah, I would like non-lethal force, yes. If possible.
Do we know if there is like a traditional sort of schedule for a coronation where the soon-to-be monarch would be waiting? What the... well, basically, I'm asking if we know where we're going.
Yeah, you know it would be in the throne room. It's always
All
in
right.
the throne room.
Perfect.
The Ashen throne is a huge part of the ritual, so...
So I know we all know where we're going, but I would love if Telemachus were to lead, just because you are the most sneaky out of all of us. And while we may be trying to turn people to our side, being seen by as few people as possible is probably also best until we get into the throne room.
And I'm sure he knows a back way or two to get there.
Definitely.
Hestia will quaff her sword. Or quaff? I don't know. Like,
Make it not on fire.
sword no longer
Yeah,
sword
flame
no
off.
longer hot. Cold sword.
Extinguish. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Sword not flaming. But yeah, you can lead them, Telemachus, through some backways and passages and things like that. You start moving through the castle, I think. You start moving your way through the castle. And I think sorry, I was looking at the passive perception scores that I have written down in my notes. And it always gets me because everybody has exactly the same thing except for Hestia. You all, except for Hestia, become aware as you're moving through that you aren't seeing anyone. You're not dodging soldiers or servants. I mean, maybe the guards have been, called to combat, but the rest of the castle seems empty. And even though Telemachus is taking you on these secret back routes and around corners and like through chambers that you didn't know connected to other chambers, it's still just so quiet.
This is unusual. Do we think it's a trap?
I think that was always our assumption, wasn't it?
I mean,
Or
of
at least the
course.
possibility had to exist.
It most certainly feels that way. So, how do
Right.
we adjust?
Well,
Right. Oh, go for it.
They can't have a coronation without the throne. So at the very least, if it is a trap, I suppose that they mean to spring it on us in the throne room. If they've removed all the opposition to allow us to get there by the fastest and the safest route, I'm not sure we have a choice.
Should one or two of us take a look first then? So we don't all walk into the trap?
I think that would be wise.
I think we may be past the point of it mattering, if I'm honest. We're here.
Hestia will activate the sword and cast Armor of Jordan and burst into flames in the middle of this, entryway before we get to wherever we're going.
Yeah, I think you're walking through like somebody's study that they didn't know had a door that connected to the hallway on the opposite end through like a bookshelf.
Yeah, the bird will sort of like perch on her armor as she is flaming, and she'll look to her brother.
I think it matters little at this point. Caution, I mean.
Don't be so eager to die, Your Majesty. Let one of us go first.
I'm saying that if they prepared a trap for us, then we've already sprung it.
Provided, of course, this is the trap, and not some diversion for the actual one.
I suppose. And you are the Crown's God, I'll defer to you.
Mr. Morgan, should we have a look?
Morgan will turn to Liv and nod at Hector, and then follow with Telemachus to the crown room, to the throne room.
Yeah. Let's roll some stealth checks, shall we?
So afraid. That's a 19.
25.
Okay, very cool. You are both pretty sneaky, pretty stealthy. Morgan, I think you were probably kind of surprised by just how quiet and sneaky Telemachus is, especially for a man of his age. I don't know that he's ever given you much impression. I don't think you've ever needed to see him do much sneaking around before, and it's a little surprising how adept he is. If you were like hunting him, you're not sure that you'd actually be able to find him. But yeah, you can approach the throne room and the like vast doors that rise up, cordoning it off. What would you like to do? You don't. I will say this: as you approach, you are very sneaky. You are very stealthy. Again, you don't see people. But it also sounds, you hear music from beyond the doors.
Is it creepy music?
Not really. It's like, violin, some strings.
Important question.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it sounds like ominous villain music from the other side of the
Do we have a save point
doors.
right outside the throne?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. There's a
It's a
green
stack of
diamond
potions.
floating in the air, and then also beyond you hear dangerous music.
Surely there's a secondary entrance to the throne room. Surely.
That's interesting. I'm not sure that there is, at least not one that you know about, Telemachus, which is saying something. But you also didn't know about the scullery tunnels. So. Rather, what I will say is this. I think you know that there are secret passageways that lead out of the throne room, but they are explicitly meant to lead out of the throne room, out of the
Makes
castle.
sense.
They're like an escape route in case of emergency.
Okay.
You'd have to be like outside the castle, and I think it would probably involve like some climbing and stuff too.
Sure.
Yeah.
I also assume these doors are too big to have keyholes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. They, you've never known them to be locked. Yeah, I don't. I think you know that they can't really be locked.
mhm. I think Telemachus will look at Morgan and say,
Regrettably not. You?
regrettably.
Shall we then?
I think we have to.
I will go and creak one of the doors slightly open and peek my head around and see what I see.
Yeah, absolutely. And you creak your head around and pop open the door just a tiny bit. And beyond, you see the throne room of Jourdain Castle, Castle Jourdain. You see the massive stained glass windows with the depictions of various times throughout Valorian history. A lot of them show the like grand accomplishments of Gregor Jourdain, the progenitor of the line, fighting these like ancient mythical monsters, burning sword held high in his hands, masses and masses of people warriors following after him, and doing his bidding. But other pictures and snippets of Valorian history as well. You see like a couple of windows dedicated to the early star arts, the early stargazers, and their ability to predict the future, or at least draw some semblance of understanding from the cosmos and the relations of the positions of the stars. And then the Ashen Throne, sitting on its dais, empty, unclaimed. I think most notably, there are what look like knights, perhaps men in armor, lining the walls of the room, standing around the outside, and in the center of it, a fairly long banquet table, laden with food and drink. There's a man seated at one end. There are musicians, which is where the music was coming from. Just say like a string quartet playing softly in one of the corners. The man is of an impressive height were he to be standing, but also of a fairly impressive girth as well. He is older. He has a very like thin. His hair is shorn very short, as is his beard. So it's all kind of just like one hair of similar of similar length. Very salt and peppery, very white, and he. Has these very kind of like grandfatherly, like ruddy cheeks, and he's dressed fairly simply. He's wearing like a tunic. It has the crest of House Godfrey on it, which is a tall golden tree, and he is seated at the head of the table. Does not seem to be eating or drinking or anything like that. But when the door opens, it makes a noise. There's no way to avoid it. And he will kind of make a gesture and will say, please, come in. I've been waiting. You're a bit late.
Well, you can understand our hesitation.
Suppose. But we shouldn't waste any more time. There's a great deal for us to discuss. Telemachus, you would hear all of this as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think Morgan is going to gesture an open palm at Telemachus, telling him to wait as Morgan walks in. Well, what would you like to discuss?
Well, we'd need everybody here, wouldn't we?
Perhaps, but I'm the welcoming party. Happy to get us started.
Understood. Well, I'm afraid I've very little business with you, Sir Alcazar. Though you're welcome to take a seat at the table, I had factored you in to this conversation.
I think when Godfrey says that he has very little business with Morgan, Morgan smiles, and it looks a little jagged at the edges. No business with me, then.
Well, you are going to be an important voice in the conversations that we are having today, I'm sure. But I imagine Hector values your opinion highly, more than most.
I can't speak for the king, but I'm surprised that you wouldn't ask me about your son.
Well, we'll get to that. All in due time, Sir Alcazar.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm happy to call the rest. But
Sure, yeah. Bast, if you're skulking around out there, you might as well come in. I know you're always listening. Always have been.
Telemachus would never deign to respond to that. In fact, he's going to skulk away and get the others.
Is this lined like front door all the way to the throne with soldiers? Like, is this an uncountable amount of people?
It's not uncountable. Maybe like it's a lot. It's like 30, 40. But I think you would notice as you look around the room that it's a lot of knights. But there is one person standing just a little ways back from where Godfrey is seated, just a massive figure in full, what looks like plate armor, except instead of being made out of metal, it almost looks like obsidian. It almost looks like volcanic glass. Holding standing kind of like at attention, holding a massive, equally sized halberd.
Would I clock this as the super secret second boss in this encounter?
In character or out of? Because I can't control what you assume out of character, but
I mean, out of character, it's the super secret second boss, but in character, would I clock this as sort of some kind of champion that Godfrey might bring forward?
I mean, things are not like decided by combat in Valoria. It's not that kind of a justice system. Like, they fancy themselves more civilized than that.
Okay. Then I will not do what I was going to do. I think that's a fair answer. I'll allow it, William.
Okay, thank you. It's very generous. As for the rest of you, Telemachus, you are creeping back to get the others. Are you telling them anything? Are you forewarning them? What's up?
I think when Telemachus gets back, Morgan is talking to the reception committee. It sounds like they're expecting us.
Do we cut our losses and flee? Try this from another angle?
I think we past that point, Hector says.
The king is correct. His throne lives or dies on this. Let's get it over with.
All right. And I think Hector will take the lead, as is his role, to lead you back into the room, lead you back into the throne room. And he steps in, you all following behind him. Morgan, during that time period, Godfrey would have like gestured for you. You could pick any of these seats that you want.
Well, it would be rude to sit before the king has his choice. So.
Well, that's what we're here to discuss, isn't it? I like to think of this as a meeting of equals.
I don't.
When Hector walks in with the rest of you in tow, Godfrey kind of like spreads his hands, not in like a grand, exaggerated gesture, just sort of like a small gesture at the table and says, great. Well, here the rest of you are. Why not come on in, have a seat, make yourselves comfortable, and we can begin discussing the future of the world.
Wherever Hector sits, Morgan just stands behind him.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, I think Telemachus is going to sit at his left hand.
Okay.
Just
Cool.
a natural thing. Can't really shake the habit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Liv will remain by the door.
Okay, all right. Hestia, are you taking a seat?
Nah. I think Hestia's probably gonna like look around, get like a lay of the land, just like flaming, like on
Sure.
fire, walking around. I think it's gonna like check the Ashen Throne, like see if anything has been done to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's just gonna like try and get a lay of the land, like do checks on what the battlefield is gonna look like.
For sure. And you, wherever you move in the throne room, Hestia, that figure in the obsidian armor kind of moves to keep like an eye on you, to watch you. You can make a history check.
Oh, I love history checks. I get a plus things to history check, +7. That's nice. Okay, that's a 16, so not bad.
Not bad at all, and definitely good enough, because you're not sure who is wearing it in this moment. You recognize this particular suit of armor from Legends as the one that was worn by the man who killed Gregor Jourdain. Armor made specifically to kill Gregor Jourdain. And according to legend, never felt the heat from his flames.
Gregor Jourdain. Which king is that?
Unless I am getting my names wrong, I think that is the first.
Yum. Okay. Yeah, she'll sort of like look back when she notices that like dude's like whoever it is staring and like following her.
Shit, I am wrong. Sorry, it's Randolph Jourdain. They was worn by the person who killed Randolph Jourdain.
Oh, nice. Huh. Fun. Okay. She'll sort of like I think she'll just like give a snort, and then like continue like doing her rounds around, just like looking, seeing like what's up with the throne room.
Sure. Amika, are you sitting at the table? I think you're muted.
Not so much sitting. It was never really Amika's place to sit at any table during discussions like this. Completely different titles and positions, so she is standing to the right of Hector.
I think that all of you, this is very traditional of all of you, but I think you're misunderstanding the purpose of this exercise, because when I say that we are meeting to discuss the future of the world, I meant all of us. All of you have a say in what comes next. So the intention was for all of us to sit and discuss as equals, not as kings and lords and crowns guard and princesses, but rather a meeting of the minds.
I know it's been a harrowing couple of days, Uncle, but you do know how a monarchy works, right? We haven't forgotten, have we?
No, but these are strange times. Monarchy, one way or another, will endure. But I was hoping that, well, I suppose there's no helping it. Maybe as we talk, you'll get more comfortable, and, we'll find common ground. But I think you'll come to see that we all have a part to play here. First, I suppose that I owe you, Hector, and Hestia, an apology. I wish there had been another option, other than killing your father. But I'm sure you know better than I do how stubborn he was. If it helps, you could chalk it up to being a protective father. You see, he had been wanting to, well, he'd been plotting to have my son killed. And I guess despite my best efforts, Sir Alcazar succeeded. Hector's head kind of snaps around when he says that to look shocked at you, Morgan.
I'm just staring at Godfrey. I'm not looking at Hector.
When Uncle says that he murdered Dad, Hestia will stop rounds immediately and just walk up directly next to him and just listen.
The figure
Now
in the,
he has attention.
The figure in the obsidian armor is only going to let you get so close. It will just sort of step in to block your way.
Cool.
I'd say definitely not within sword's reach, but
cool.
Just outside of sword's reach. Yeah,
15 feet away. It's just gonna be waiting and listening.
Yeah. You didn't know about that. That's unfortunate. Hector he's just staring at you, Morgan, and when you refuse to look at him, he's just going to say, Morgan, did my father order you to kill Lyle Godfrey?
Still looking at Godfrey, I just say, my loyalty has always been to the crown.
He doesn't really make an effort to hide the hurt from his voice when he says, somewhat quietly, I thought your loyalty was to me.
Morgan doesn't say anything, but there is the briefest look of hurt on his face before he can wrangle himself. And he hopes, but obviously it's impossible to know. He's looking at Godfrey and in that direction because that is where the threat is, not because he doesn't want to meet Hector's eyes. But he is trained to look at the threat and survey and make sure that Hector is safe. And he hopes desperately that Hector knows that, and probably some part of him knows that Hector doesn't.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, but I think the longer you keep doing that, I think it's only a couple of brief pauses before Hector slams a fist down on the table, and the dishes and the plates rattle, and he says much more forcefully, "Look at me."
The king has made an order, so Morgan will look at him.
Did you kill Lyle Godfrey?
He didn't suffer.
How many others? I don't understand. Why?
Is this the time that you want to discuss this, Your Majesty?
He doesn't know what to say to that, but Cedric is going to interrupt mercifully and is going to say, "Can see that we're facing some tension."
Nothing you need to concern yourself with, Sir Godfrey.
I suppose not. Doesn't matter much to my purposes. In the end, I suppose that would probably be the time for speaking plainly. I don't hold any grudges against you, Sir Alcazar. You were loyal to the crown, following orders. You did your duty as a knight, and you did it commendably. But I had a problem. You understand? Not with you. Because I was left with little choice but to remove, Lucan from the equation. Remove Lucan from the Ashen Throne, and what did that leave? A daughter? An elder daughter on the verge of running away. And he looks at you, Liv, and says, "I'm not sure if you realize exactly what a favor I did for you with Lucan's death. Because for years, since they were children, I had said to Lucan, my best friend, it would only make sense for our eldest children to wed. My boy, Helena. The two strongest bloodlines in the kingdom. It only made sense. And Lucan rejected it time and time again. Do you know why, Lady Cascound?
Why is that?
Because he knew that my son wasn't to Helena's tastes, shall we say. And yet, you weren't permitted to wed. I hope you understand what it is that I'm saying, and you don't mistake my meaning, because it wasn't Helena's preferences that the king had a problem with. It was you. He didn't think you were good enough for his daughter. But he's dead.
And so is she while you sit here spouting your virtues.
And I regret that. I wish that she were with us. It wouldn't change anything in the broadest sense, because that was only the first part of my problem. Because then there was Hector. The obvious choice. The crown prince. A good man. Would do well on the throne, I'm certain. But it wasn't what he wanted. Anyone could see that, plain as day. He wanted to travel. He wanted to be far away from here with the person that he loves. And I thought perhaps I could grant him that small mercy. But who did that leave? Hestia.
Wait. Hestia's gonna turn, look at Morgan, look at Hector, look at, like, the two of them for the first time, and be like, was everyone fucking that crown's god but me? Did I miss something in the crown's god vows? Was there, like, a section that I didn't... I'm sorry. You were monologuing, Uncle.
These children, these two. They didn't want the throne. They didn't want the Ashen throne. But you wanted too much. And I'm sure you've all seen what I'm talking about. This half-feral child with the blood of the old gods burning too strong in your veins. Too quick to violence, too quick to death. No, I wasn't willing to repeat history and put another Jourdain tyrant on the throne. I'm certain she half came here with the intention to kill her own brother. Or am I lying, Hestia?
What is it that you want, Uncle?
It's the thing, we're getting to that. Because I needed another Jourdain. And wherever was I going to find one? Lady Ravenswell. Would you like to tell them where I might find another Jourdain?
Everyone was fucking their crown's god. Of course! Of course, everyone was fucking their crown's god. Fucking hell. Hestia's gonna, like, I'm sorry, very dramatic, big reveal, I know. She'll take a few steps back, do some breathing exercises. Nice.
You should be able to find her far from here.
Oh, but I did. I'm not foolish enough to bring her here. I think that would be a bit traumatic. I think that would send the wrong message, like I'm holding her hostage. I'm not. She's being very well cared for. I understand if you don't believe me, but
She was well cared for. Already far from this.
Far from this. Far from you.
Incredibly.
Because Gregor Jourdain, her father,
Randall.
their grandfather, forced you to keep her a secret. Refused to acknowledge her.
Yes.
Because of the Jourdains. I know that you've spent most of her life communicating by letter, so he holds up a folded piece of paper and says, you should recognize the handwriting. And when you unfold it, it is your daughter's handwriting. I was going to ask, without ruining the reveal, how do you pronounce it? Is it Azakia?
Azakiah.
Azakiah, yeah. Azakiah, it is Azakiah's handwriting. And it says, I'm all right. I'm safe. I'm sorry.
Godfrey. What did you do with my mother?
She's unharmed. She's with your daughter. I'm not here to make enemies. I'm not here to make threats. I'm here to find a way forward for all of us.
It's not through her.
I don't want to disagree with you, Amika, but I think it's the only option. I had a different plan. Originally, I had a different plan. I thought perhaps, in the absence of marrying my son with the eldest Jourdain daughter, then perhaps your daughter, bearing that pure Jourdain blood, and my son could wed, but Sir Alcazar threw a wrench into that plan. Fortune smiles on our endeavor, however. She is already with child. So, we claim Lyle Godfrey is the father. Posthumously joined the bloodlines. Hector is free to go wherever his wanderlust heart takes him. Lady Caskwound is free to walk away from all this. And Lady Ravenswell, you no longer have to exist at the beck and call of a family that tried to erase you. Instead, finally, you can be with your daughter and your grandson openly and guide them. Teach them to be the rulers that no one else in this family was ever able to be.
And what do you get out of this, Godfrey?
Lucan is dead. he might have died by Morgan's hands, but not by Morgan's wishes. And the Godfreys have the throne. In tandem with you. Together we can make a better world. And my family's future is secured.
Your family, much like the son you don't acknowledge.
He wants nothing to do with me. And I can't blame him. But we're not here to talk about my moral failings. I have plenty of them. No. We're here to talk about the future. I will admit, there is one roadblock. Hestia Jourdain. Because I don't think she's going to stand by and let this take place. Even if the rest of us agree.
Bold of you to assume I agree.
I'm open to discussion. But I'd recommend we keep it civil. Telemachus, you remember Kraken Blackpike. He gestures to the man in the obsidian armor, the massive man, which is a name that you would all recognize. His full name is... what did I tell you his full name was? I only wrote down Kraken Blackpike in my notes. Merrick Blackpike, Lady Rosanna Blackpike's uncle, a notorious pirate who had some plans for doing some insurgency of his own about 5 years back. Telemachus stopped him, and he's been presumably rotting in a jail cell ever since.
How has subterranean life been treating you, Blackpike?
He does not verbally respond. He just kind of cracks his neck and rolls a shoulder in the armor.
I forget, did they tear out your tongue or not?
Come now, best. The man's been through enough.
Has he? He could have been through so much more.
What is this about for you? Is this about justice?
When have I ever given you the impression I care about justice?
You haven't. And that's why this is so curious to me.
I think Telemachus just kind of leans forward. He says, I spent a lifetime serving the Jourdains. It's hard to kick the habit. I'm here because fate and circumstance decided that I was here. Also, I'm incredibly hard to kill. And all I see is a man compounding failure with failure. You failed to protect your son. You failed to eliminate the Jourdain family. And now you're here acting as though you hold all the cards. That's very strange to me. Because you've never been that bright. And you've never been a skilled politician, so I guess I'm here to make sure that we see through your overconfidence.
You could be right. I could be overestimating the leverage that I hold. And you are incredibly hard to kill. Except that you are dying.
Everyone in this room is dying.
Well, not like you. you ever been poisoned by a muse before, Sir Bast? Because you can recover from the initial dose. But it's insidious. It finds its way into your blood. Turns it to poison. Slowly over time, turns your heart to liquid.
Sounds like a nasty way to go.
I've seen it.
Then you understand why I'm motivated to make the rest of my time meaningful.
I didn't say it was incurable.
I've never heard of a cure.
If you have the right antidote. Normally, one dose is given to whoever procures the service of the muse. And I hired the young lady, Rhea, to protect my son.
Another failure.
She was otherwise occupied. Though I think by that point, you might have killed her.
So your offer is as crude as my life or support?
You're a simple man. Not so much support as neutrality. You always did want to be the right hand of the king.
And that is something you can offer?
As the grandfather of the next king, of course I could. And regent in his stead until he comes of age.
We're banking a lot on you telling the truth about all of this.
What reason have I to lie? I'm
You
trying
have
to
every
find
reason to lie. You have a shit hand, Godfrey.
There were complications, I'll admit.
There you are. That is why you lie. You're bluffing. You could be bluffing, and I'm not willing to stake a bet on it. And he will look over at Amika, look over at Liv, look at Morgan, and then look at Hestia.
You are hearing threats, and I just want to clarify that what I'm offering is everything that all of you want. Lady Ravenswell, chance to be with your family, without anything in the way, no barriers. Hector and Sir Alcazar, go wherever you want. With each other, be happy, I don't care. Lady Caskwound, you can be released from service. Find a life somewhere. Hestia? Hestia,
Die?
that's up to you. Or you can go be with your mother.
Wait, what? Insight check. That's not
Oh.
a thing.
You can roll it.
Like, yeah. Hestia's looking obviously surprised. Holy shit. Not 20.
He seems to be telling the truth. We'd call it exile, of course, but you'd be free to be with her and her people. Come back for revenge someday. If it suits you.
My mother was killed by the Great Serpent.
Was she now? Is that what your father told you?
The second he says, like, is that what your father told you? She's going to take a step forward, like, raising the sword. And I feel like the dude is gonna, like, interpose.
Yeah, definitely.
Brother, I tire of talking. Are you staying or are you going?
Hector looks very conflicted. I never wanted the throne. None of us have ever wanted the throne, except for... I would take it if it's what everyone thinks is best, but it would weigh on me to take these chances away from you. If that's what you all want. Mika raised us. She made us into the people that we are. She made me into the person that I am. I'm no doubt that she could do the same thing with her own flesh and blood. Liv, you've given everything and you've lost everything. I'm going to ask you to lay down your life in this impossible situation just because I refuse to give up a piece of stone. Telemachus, I know that my father was unkind to you, that he never valued what you brought to him, and that he never trusted you. Morgan, I don't know why you did those things. I don't know why you felt like you had to do those things instead of talking to me about it, telling me about it. But it was monstrous of my father to make you do those things.
Very quietly, Morgan says, if you run from this, I can't go with you. your place is on this throne.
What is a throne? Morgan, Hastia, what is throne? 1,000 years ago, someone that we shared a few drops of blood with murdered hundreds of people and told everyone that this was his land now. That he got to decide what happened, that he got to make the laws, that he was entitled to more than they were. And he took their bodies and he burned them and he made that rock out of them so that he could sit upon it. You tell me my place is on that throne. That's what I was made for. But it is a chain around my neck. What do you say, amiga?
Okay, so I'm standing to the right of him. Is that closer or farther from Godfrey?
It sounds to me that Godfrey is on one end of the table, and then Hector was like the only one who actually sat down at the opposite end of the table. So I imagine you're kind of like on the opposite end of the table.
She just doesn't want to turn her back to him when she looks to Hector. But due to her status as basically their mother figure, Amika rarely ever uses their titles or is supplicant to them because she's like, I'm your mom, I raised you, sort of thing. But in this instant, there is nothing but pleading. Your Grace, I have done all that I could to prepare you for this. You cannot ask me to bring my child here. She needs to be with our coven. She needs to be with my people. Even if I am not, she cannot come here. And based on a lie. To think that we would allow Lyle in our midst. Nothing against him. But if you recall, they barely allowed you. I cannot force you to do anything. But I can beg you to not do this.
He looks a little helpless and still a little unsure. His eyes are kind of like searching around the room. He looks at you, Liv. I don't think he says anything, but he looks at you with this sort of like confused, pleading expression.
Liv, I don't think Liv says anything. She meets his eyes and just, I think, gives him a nod. Doesn't say anything.
And he will look to you too, Telemachus.
I think Telemachus puts his right hand on the king's left shoulder and says, "The first thing that the Crown's Guard swears is to die in service of the throne. That said, we respond to the monarch's wishes. If you do not wish the throne to be a chain around your neck, let it. Use it in service to whatever you feel correct. But do not give it to this pathetic man." We will support you.
Hector kind of straightens himself up a little bit after sitting with that for a second. And says, "I've discussed it with my advisors, Godfrey, and we will not be acquiescing to your requests.
Hestia will run towards her uncle and swing.
Immediately, I was going to say immediately Black Pike is going to heft that big halberd and swing it directly at Hestia. And we are going to do some quick rolls for initiative. This is not going to last long, I don't think, but we are going to get through it real quick. Yeah. All right, let's see here. We do have Owlbear Rodeo. I don't think we're going to need it, if I'm honest with you. That is not terrible. Cool. Can I get Hestia, your initiative?
18.
18. Amika?
11.
Morgan?
Natural 20.
Yeah. Liv?
Also a natural 20.
Oh, yes. And Telemachus?
A 19, which means 24.
Incredible. Okay. So, I'm sorry, Morgan and Liv, does that mean you both have a 20 or?
No, 26 total with a natural
26 total.
20.
All right, cool.
Flat
cool.
20 for Morgan.
All right, awesome. So then, yes, Liv, you, I think, keep up the streak of getting to go first in all of our combats.
Yeah. Liv hesitates for just a moment to let Black Pike turn and swing at Hestia. And as soon as he does, Liv is going for Godfrey.
All right, hell yeah. You can cover the distance. He is, I'm going to say like, I mean, at most, I think, well, you said you were by the door, but even so, I think he's at most like 20 feet away from you. So I think
yeah, I'm a swashbuckler. I
Yes.
can cover
Yep.
so much space.
Yep. Go for it.
That is a 23 on my first attack on Godfrey.
That is gonna hit.
I think Liv dashes, jumps up onto the table, and comes down straight into Godfrey.
Okay.
That is going to be 21 points of damage.
Incredible. Okay, yeah, you leap onto him. He looks very surprised. He looks very unexpected, and he is you slash him. I'm picturing, like, are you on the table, and he is like still in his seat, kind of?
Yeah, I think jumps up and slams her first saber into his shoulder.
Okay.
And then rips it out and slashes with the second.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, he starts bleeding immediately. You can see that he is wearing a chain shirt underneath the tunic that with a big Godfrey crest. But your blades pretty much go right through it. Immediately as that happens, all of the knights that are kind of lining the wall start to move forward, and Hector barks out in this commanding voice, "Hold!" And sounds very, very kingly when he does it, and the knights do, at the very least, hesitate. They are not immediately moving to enter this fray, this god fray, as it were. I'm sorry, I wish I hadn't done that. Telemachus, you're next.
Sorry,
I think
second
Liv has
slash.
another attack.
That's right. You get to do. Yep.
Second slash is a dirty 20.
Still a hit.
And that is 11 points of damage.
And you'd think after 6 episodes of this, I would have learned to ask the first time, but is that all of your attacks?
Yes. Liv is going to take a step back just out of melee range.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it for her for now.
All right. Then it's Telemachus.
Okay. So seeing Liv go for Godfrey, Telemachus also is gonna go for him, because we can't let that guy be a ringleader and continue to scheme. So while Liv is running along the table, I think Telemachus is skirting and coming around to see if he can get behind while he's distracted by
For sure you can, yes.
Crown's Guard being on his table up in his business. Then we'll roll with advantage, because he hasn't acted yet, which is always fun.
Everything happened real fast for old Godfrey here, and he is not prepared for this. So,
all right. Well, we got a natural 1 and a 17 plus 8 is 25. How much is it?
Big hit.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna roll some dice. If he's still alive at the end of this, he's also wounded by Mother's Lament. But that is 4, 10, 17, 20, 23. 23 damage, yeah.
You're muted, Will.
Will, you're muted.
Because I was opening a soda. He is still alive. So he takes more damage, or is poisoned?
So he takes 23 damage, and then he's wounded, so at the start of his turn, he takes D4 necrotic damage, can make a saving throw.
Okay,
But
cool.
we're putting Mother's Lament right through his back, and
we are.
spreading some corruption in his stupid body.
Are you saying anything pithy to him as you stab him from behind?
Telemachus isn't a pithy guy, so
That's
no.
fair.
Just
That's
there to
very
murder
fair.
him.
All right. Morgan.
Seeing Liv and Telemachus going for Godfrey, I will turn my Bunong over to Black Pike and strike there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, go for it.
That's going to be a 26, natural 20.
That for sure hits. And also, that's a crit.
So wait, what does the crit mean? I get to roll twice and take the higher of the two?
Double your damage, basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
it doubles my damage. So I have a question. I have a skill that I can choose to deal max damage. Does that mean that I get double max damage?
In episode 6, it sure does.
Wonderful. So that's going to be 22 points of slashing damage and 7 plus 5, 12 points of force damage.
Okay. All right.
And Morgan is eyeing Hestia because that comment about she might have come in here with a plan to kill her brother did not go over his head. So I'm keeping an eye on Hestia as well.
That's fair. It's fair and probably smart. Speak of the devil. It is Hestia's turn.
Devil? Hestia is a princess who has done nothing wrong in her life.
It's
ever.
just a turn of phrase. It doesn't mean anything.
Gosh, how's Lady Blackpike's uncle looking?
Pretty A-okay. Right
Pretty
now.
A-okay, actually.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up. I think especially because of the fucking legendary plate armor this nigga has on. What the fuck? We're gonna have to focus on this dude. Because, like, that fucking halberd. And it seems like Uncle is old and squishy, and that, like, the Crown's Guard have got it. It seems like Hestia's gonna do a classic team up with Sir Alcazar, and try to, like, get on the other side so that, like, she is flanking. And we'll try to advantage make a strike. Fuck, everything is fire. So much is fire. But
yeah. They came prepared for this one.
We're going to cast Hex. And Hex is not fire. Hex is death. So we'll cast the Hex spell as a bonus action. And we'll do our... Wait, do I want to use my last spell? I don't want to use my last spell. I'm just gonna try to hit him. Just gonna try to hit him with my fire sword. The fire won't work, but it is a sword. Let's see how that works out for Hestia. Yeah, that tracks. That was a natural 2 on the die for a 10. Does that beat the plate armor legendary AC that I'm trying to hit?
Does not, no.
That's super fair. Oh, wait. Advantage, because team up with Sir Alcazar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Natural 4 for a 12, which...
You know what? It's going to be fine. It's going to be so fine. Don't even stress about it.
I feel like Hestia's Phoenix, like, goes up and, like, tries to... Like, they attack in tandem, as they do. And as, like, the Phoenix flies around, like, the vivacity, the life, the color, sort of drains just from the proximity to this awesome artifact. Like, he probably, like, swats it away, and it'll go, like, flying off. Hestia's distracted and whiffs, and the flames all dim around her. And it's not looking great, because he has a big-ass halberd. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think as it's his turn next, and so as you do that and it doesn't seem to be terribly effective, you hear him speak for the first time, and it's just he sounds exactly the way you sound him. You expect him to sound, but it just reverberates out of the inside of his armor with this echo, and he says, I'm gonna kill me, Jordan. And he's gonna heft that halberd and come after Hestia. Yeah, let's see how that goes for him. We got those are unfortunately good rolls. So 27 and a 20. What's your armor class?
Not 20. So both hit.
All right.
Both super hit.
Super hit. And there is a lot of shit here. Okay. All right, that's going to be 9 points of slashing damage. Followed by 16 points of slashing damage.
Okay, so Hestia's Armor of Jordan is extinguished. If it matters, he would take 40 points of fire damage.
Okay.
Were it not for the armor.
So the flames wash over him, and you hear him roar, maybe almost in surprise. It doesn't seem like it's fully effective, but he's clearly not fireproof.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, the
so
rumors were not true. 40 points.
Cool.
Like hit once, and that's 20, and then hit another time, and that's another 20.
Cool.
And Hestia ends up like losing all of her temp HP, and like as the flames like are fucking extinguished by the someone does like seep through the cracks and do, I guess, a little bit of damage. But she does take slashing damage from those very big hits.
Yes, and I need you to make a strength saving throw, actually.
Oh no. Oh no. Well, why would you ask me to do that?
So sorry.
That's okay. Warlocks are notoriously great at being strong. Boom. Natural 9 for a 9.
You are knocked prone. This last hit is so strong, he just sort of winds it up and brings it down directly on top of you, and it hits you with enough force that not only does it kind of cleave you a little bit, but it also knocks you fully on your back.
Yeah, with only 5 points of slashing damage, I feel like her shield takes most of it, but
probably.
That's gonna fucking bruise.
Next up is Amika. I think you're muted, Garnet. Sorry.
Okay. I have a question about cantrips and bonus actions. Because I would love to huck my spear at this giant hulking man, but I would also like to use a cantrip against him as well. If that is possible to use a cantrip as a bonus action.
In episode 6 it is.
Okay, great. Then I am going to hurl my spear at him, and hopefully it hits. And regardless if it does or not, I am also going to cast, what is this spell? Because he doesn't do fire. So I'm going to do the opposite, and I'm going to cast Frostbite on him. Since he is distracted and upset that he's now on fire, he's going to be even more confused that he's cold. So the Frostbite is a DC 15 con save.
Okay. He does make that.
Okay, that's all right, because I'm going to throw my spear. Where is that a D20? This is a D20. And that is a nat 20 for 26.
20 to hit or natural 20 for damage?
It's a natural 20 to hit.
Cool. So that's a crit.
A total of 26. Yes.
That hits, and it is a critical hit.
Amazing. So then we're going to do... Let's see. 6, 14, and now he also has the sap. Basically, his next turn, he rolls with disadvantage.
Okay, awesome. Hell yeah. That is going to come in handy. Back up to Liv.
Does Godfrey not take a turn?
He is not currently, no.
Does Hector not take a turn?
Hector told the knights to hold.
Yeah. Hector's turn was speaking commandingly.
He's doing king stuff.
But does Godfrey take D4 damage at the end of the round?
Yes, he does.
Could
You
be
wanna roll that?
important.
Yeah, no, it absolutely could be important. Tell me how much damage it is.
Oh, yeah. Do I have a D4 on me? I do. 4 damage.
Hell yeah. Now who's poisoned? And now it's Liv's turn.
Absolutely, yeah. So last round it was stab slash, and then she jumped backwards to let Telemachus stab him in the back. And as soon as Telemachus pulls out his weapon, she lunges forward again. That is going to be a 22 to hit.
Yep.
Do I have advantage?
Yeah. You were flanking, and he was not ready for any of this.
I was trying to get a crit. That was a 19 though, so not quite.
Dang.
That's okay. That does 26 points of damage.
All right. Yeah.
And she'll spin and slash again. That's a 24 to hit.
That hits.
And that is going to be 11 points of damage.
Okay, well, he was dead after the first one, but it doesn't hurt anything to be thorough. So,
Liv is angry.
Yeah.
So like he's falling dead, and she still turns and slashes, and I think just takes his head off.
absolutely. Hell yeah. Incredible. But Telemachus, back to you. What would you like to do?
So I have a question. How mobile does the Kraken seem to be right now? Like, is he moving around?
That armor is heavy and unwieldy, so he's not fast. Like, he's not
Okay.
nimble, but he is moving.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
Can I bonus action kick Godfrey's head under his feet to stumble him and then charge in and stab him in the back?
Oh, interesting. Okay, I wasn't sure if you were going for your guy is dead, stand down, but like you could absolutely do that.
That's the goal.
Okay.
I don't
yeah,
think
absolutely.
we're going to intimidate him into not trying to murder Hestia, but
Okay. Yeah.
at least maybe we could make him fall on his face.
Sure. So your goal with the head kick is to just get it under his feet and give yourself advantage?
Yes, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, absolutely, you could do that. I would say you would have advantage no matter what, but kicking Godfrey's head under his feet is definitely the icing on the cake.
Right. I mean, actually, my goal would maybe be to see if we can knock him prone, like
Okay.
he knocked Hestia prone.
I think that is an interesting idea. Let's call it. Maneuvers work in this game. Now that I think about it.
I don't have any, but would you let me make an acrobatics check to kick it on target?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Okay.
It's episode 6.
It's episode 6. All right. Well, that is a 14 plus 5 is 19.
19. All right, I'll give him one save, but I don't think he's gonna get it. He does not. So yes, you kick his head and he stumbles, and you can run up on him.
All right. Then I would like to put Mother's Lament through the back of his knee and just kind of pin him to the ground.
Okay. Very cool. Roll it.
Well, I rolled 2 14s. So, 21.
I was gonna say, I think that still hits. Yep.
Okay. Ouch. That's 10, 19, 27
Points of damage. Cool.
points of magical damage.
Oh, all right. Very cool. 27, you said.
Yes, and he is also wounded as whatever corruption exists in Mother's Lament starts spreading through his leg.
Hell yeah. All right. We are building up. Yeah, it goes through. He roars in pain as he goes down to one knee, and you use that to sort of like stab directly through the back of his leg and into the ground.
I would like to stab and then say, this was always the other option.
Morgan?
I am still... Well, how do, like, guard or defend movements work in this game?
Depends on who you're trying to guard or defend.
I am trying to guard Hestia, because if anybody is killing Hestia, it's gonna be me.
Okay, I would say that you can just kind of declare that you're doing that, and then I'll give him disadvantage. He already has disadvantage this round, but yeah, you can absolutely just sort of protect Hestia.
In a previous game, I was able to use my little whatchamahoosit in combat. My Right of the Ancestors that lets me ask questions, but I don't remember if it was a bonus action or my action.
I would probably say action, but what do you want to do with it?
I have to choose between guard and Right of the Ancestors?
Yeah, but I will say guarding would give him disadvantage, which he already has this round.
Okay, then I will use my Right of the Ancestors.
Okay.
Any damage resistances?
Fire resistance.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Any
it.
vulnerabilities?
Nope.
What is the... What's the AC?
20.
Okay. Perfect. Then that
Yes.
is my move.
Okay.
Actually, bonus action. I need him to make a wisdom saving throw DC 12.
All right, he's bad at that.
Good. Be terrible.
He got a 10.
Wonderful. Speed is reduced by 10. I have advantage on attacks.
Thanks.
Yeah, nothing else matters. That's it. That's it for me.
Hell yeah. Right, we're just yanking him. Hestia.
Hestia's on the ground, wind knocked out of her. She sees the decapitated head of her uncle, like, roll past her and, like, into the footpath of the person that is chopping down at her with a halberd, at which point they cartoonishly stumble and, like, fall with sort of like a banana peel in a cartoon, but worse and horror. I think Hestia is going to stand. Look down at, like, the last person in this room that is still fighting. And say, I suggest that you beg for mercy. I think our king has a bit of a soft spot for that. And will cast suggestion. So that is going to be a DC 16 wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Okay. He does not make it.
Oh boy, I succeeded on the suggestion. I get to fuck with people's minds now. This creature can be charmed, right?
Yeah, he's a guy.
Awesome. We love guys.
Yep.
So,
He's just a big guy.
on a failed save, it pursues the course of action you described to the best of its ability. And it can continue for the entire duration. So, as long as I concentrate for the next 8 hours, he can be begging for mercy from our king, until the king, like, decides it's enough, or until Hestia fucking drops the spell.
Okay. All right, cool. But so the exception to that is he's gonna do it, but if he takes any damage, the spell ends. So I would just like let your comrades. I mean, if you are letting your comrades know. But I guess actually, what I'll say is this: the rest of you see Hestia.
Yeah, Hestia obviously did some witch shit, and now dude is like dropped the halberd, is groveling and begging for help. So
he was
like
already down on one knee, and so I think what you see is like he, like, kind of hand shaking, holds out the halberd and drops it. It clatters to the ground, and his other knee hits the ground. And he just like he sort of like reaches up and claws the helmet of the helm off. His like stringy whitish hair falls out, and he's just like he's not a he's an ugly dude. His face has been just like rearranged from thousands of fights. He's missing teeth, especially from like being in the depths of whatever prison he's been kept in before Godfrey pulled him out, and he just sort of like falls to like his hands and his knees, almost like gravity is weighing down on him in the aftermath of what Hestia has magically forced him to do. And yeah, I think I imagine a hush kind of falls over the room. Hestia, I don't know about the others, but I think you look around and you kind of see Hector, at least, staring at you with shock, maybe a little bit of fear.
All's in your court, brother. What do you want to do?
Hector will walk from the table where he was standing and step onto the dais where the Ashen throne sits. And he doesn't say anything, but he turns around and he sits on the throne. Immediately, all of the knights that have been lining the wall bend the knee, drop to one knee. What did the rest of you do?
Liv will drop to a knee as well.
Oh, it hurts. And I think, like, anybody watching, like, there's enough wisdom in this party for, like, folks to be able to see in Hestia that, like, a little bit of it, like, really hurts. But after the slightest moment of hesitation, she bends the knee as well.
Morgan stays standing between Hestia and Hector.
Telemachus?
When Telemachus is going to leave his sword in the Kraken's knee, stand, and then take a knee.
Okay. Mika.
Amika is going to collect Godfrey's head. And just look at Hector and go, "With your leave, Your Majesty, I would like to take this to my daughter." And then she will also take a knee.
And we will kind of pan out of this bloody scene of people bending the knee to Prince Hector Jourdain, now King Hector Jourdain, and fade away to a very different view of the throne room here in Castle Jourdain, where everything has been cleaned and polished. Light is gleaming through the stained glass windows beautifully. It is crowded, full of people in finery and packed full of people. There's music playing, but it's different. It's jauntier, it's happier, and it is a joyous day, clearly, here in Havenal. And as we go through the ceremony, I think we sort of pan over to see who is there and who is not. Telemachus, the king needs a right hand.
I guess there's how long after is this? Because we do need to find a cure. Maybe Godfrey had it on him.
I was about to say you were able to locate the cure. He did have it, not on him, but he did have it stashed away specifically.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We're going to hire a muse on some pretext and just take the cure ourselves if that didn't work, but that's fine.
Fair.
Yeah, I think after decades of doing the dirty work of the kingdom and the decades of getting his hands dirty, that dealing with Godfrey was the last time I think he was willing to do that. And now it's time to do what he always wanted to do, which was advise in a more honorable or intellectual way, as opposed to the cunning that he's been forced to adopt this whole time.
Hell yeah. You are there at his right hand. Hestia, if you were in attendance, then you would probably be on the dais with him, standing, not seated on the Ashen throne, but is that amenable to Hestia? I think you're muted. Never mind, no, you're not.
Yeah, so I've been invited? Question mark?
Yeah, to the coronation? Absolutely.
Okay. Like, it's like every time time Hector approaches me, I see just a death stare, like from over his shoulder, and I am always a little perplexed at like the things that Hector does, but if he asks me to be there, I serve the crown. And yeah, it's always been, I think it's been like very difficult for Hestia to like get used to this new dynamic they have where all of the secrets are just laid fucking bare. It is hard for Hestia to get her brother's pleading face out of her mind. When it was his time to rule, to make a decision, he asked, he did not lead. So there is an obvious discomfort there, but she is well practiced at making appearances through discomfort, and will stand by her brother.
And seated next to him, not on the Ashen Throne, of course, but he reaches out. His hand is resting on the armrest, and another hand reaches out to rest on top of his and of his betrothed, the Lady Lavinia Harrow. Where do we find Morgan, if Morgan is in attendance?
I think the real question is, did Hector ask Morgan to step down as Crown's Guard?
No, definitely not.
Morgan's loyalty is to the Crown. He is where the Crown's Guard would be. As Hector's personal guard, I imagine that he is close in the shadows, and he spends too long looking at Hector's hand on Lavinia's, but would never say a word.
For Liv and Lady Amika, it would have been made abundantly clear that you are welcome to leave the service if you so choose.
Liv left quickly after Hector reclaimed his throne. She is already many leagues away from this capital.
Amika promised to get Hector back on the throne. And after the coronation, knowing that she was free to go home, would have made many, many threats to everyone in the kitchen that if anything went wrong with the food, she would come back with a league of witches after no longer hiding her abilities. That she would come back with an entire league of witches to rain down and destroy every last one of them and their family lines. Like if even this, look, you could have burned the biscuits a little bit too much and it would be over for you, sort of thing. But I don't think she would have stayed for the party. I think she would have, after the coronation, made her way home.
And that day, the day of King Hector Jourdain's coronation, he sits on the Ashen Throne and takes the place of his father, becoming the next in a long line of Jourdain kings here in the Kingdom of Valoria, their seat of power, Havenal. The sun rises elsewhere, a little bit outside of Havenal. As you start to reach the road, as you start to get away from the city. And we see the road out of the city and a little roadside inn and a lone rider approaching. The horse is pulled up short by the rider, hitched to one of the posts outside. And the door of the inn opens, and we see Lady Liv, Gascoigne step into the inn. You walk over, take it in. It's a simple place. There's a fire burning in the hearth, even at this early hour. Sparsely populated at this time of day. A few folks taking in lunch, stopping here on their way out elsewhere into the world. You take a seat at one of the tables, and a figure stops next to you. And you hear a familiar voice that says, "So, what can I get you?"
Liv smiles as she looks up. It's done. We should go as quickly as we can.
And we pan up to the broadly smiling face of Lady Helena Jourdain. This was quite the plan you put together.
When opportunity arises, your brother and sister are safe. I believe the coronation's happening now. If we move quickly, we can get out of Valoria before anybody even notices.
Well then, let's go live our lives.
And Liv will, I think, hop up and grab Helena's hand. And they will, I think, just straight out the door. I don't even know if Helena takes the time to quit. Just straight out the door.
Onto the horse and back onto the road and far, far away from Avenal. And that was the fall of the Ashen Throne. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for hanging out and all that good stuff. Hope everybody had fun. I had fun. Hope you all had fun. We are late. It's a finale. I feel like they always go over, but we are over time, so I want to be conscious of that and get right into the introductions. But I will say just thank you to everybody who watched and supported this idea. Thank you to Entropy Emporium for hosting this. I will say, yes, this has been since I think session 1. Anna DM'd me about this plan too.
That's why in the premiere we never saw the scene of Helena dying, unlike we saw the other scenes.
She's just been hiding out at this inn waiting for Liv to show up. And it was really, really beautiful way to end this. So thank you so much to everybody, to the players, to the audience, to Entropy Emporium, all of that. And I guess we'll just get into our outros, and we'll finish with Kian. So I'll go first. Hi, my name is Will. I was your storyteller for this. This was a very silly idea that hit me at the Renaissance Festival this past year when I just saw a bunch of people dressed as Crownsguard walking with the king, and I was like, man, it'd be funny if they were just kind of on their own. This turned into something more than I could have ever expected it to be, thanks to all of the world building and the ideas that this cast rolled with, the very basic stuff that I put out into the chat. So anyway, I'm Will. I'm on the internet around places at A Will M Scream, mostly over Live from the Apocalypse, where you can find me doing stuff, though not this week, I don't think. But I'm around. Find me. Alex?
Yeah, hi, I'm Alex. I was Sir Telemachus Bast, right hand of the king. Feels good. You can find me on Blue Sky at Mighty Finn every other Tuesday, not this Tuesday, but the next one, over on Live from the Apocalypse for Nephilim Tenebris, where I'm just a little bean and doing his best to space doctor and not get crushed by his giant girlfriend, who is a notorious murderer. That's about it. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. Robin / maybe killing our old principal at our old college. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Anita?
Fuck gang. Uh, hey everyone, Anita here. I have been Princess Helena Jourdain. Always the princess, never the queen. So sad, but happy ending. Fuck. I'm fine. I'm good. You can find me at Anita the Lesbian on Twitter. And there's where I'll be posting about stuff I do. Yeah, that's been me. I'll toss it. I'll toss it to the person that kept my sister being alive a secret from me forever. Wow, that was nasty work. Well done, Anna. Take it away.
That is me tonight, and for the last 6 episodes, I have been Liv, the actually very successful bodyguard of Princess Helena Jourdain, who did not let her die and was so good at her job. She got Helena out, then went back in to get a Hestia and got Hestia out as well. So, all of the hate was unwarranted. But yeah, normally.
Oh no, it's doubly warranted now. But go off, king. Go off, queen. Like, go off, royalty. I'm so. Ooh. Sorry. Please continue.
Normally, I'm archival Dust Bunny most places on the internet, queer trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG performer, producer, and podcaster. You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky at archival Dust Bunny. It is late, so the only thing I'm going to plug tonight is Bloom and Blight, our Girl by Moonlight actual play podcast, following the magical girl team Bloom as just a few months after their leader Lily sacrificed herself to save the world. The show explores their grief and how they handle and heal from it, how it affects them, their relationships, and their responsibilities to protect the city that they call home. All of season 1 is out. A couple episodes of season 2 is out. We're at a really fun part in season 2 where things really start kicking off. So if you haven't caught up yet, it's a great time to do so. All of our episodes are tightly edited and have full sound effect and music, so very easy to listen to. All of them 45 minutes to maybe 75 minutes, some of the longer ones. But you can find us anywhere you normally get your podcast and on Instagram and Blue Sky at Bloom and Blight. And for character and cast information, transcripts, a link to our amazing community Discord server downloadables, and all stuff like that, check out bloomandblight.com.
Hell yeah. Garnet?
Remembering to unmute myself from all of the things for once. I am Garnet. I have been Lady Amika Ravenswell, and apparently I'm going to be a grandma. That's news to me. I am. That was wild. So yeah, I guess the first, baby's first gift is gonna be the head of the guy who tried to lie about his parentage. Because I'm gonna teach you empathy, but also how to destroy your enemies. This has been a wild ride and a fantastic game, and so I'm flying home, so I might catch up with Liv. I don't know. Because I don't trust any mode of transportation that isn't myself. So, but yeah, I have loved all of this. Let's see, tomorrow I will be doing the penultimate episode of Into the Margrave over at ESP Productions, where my character is finally going to meet her goddesses for the first time. And if you want to watch me become a different kind of emotional wreck, come and hang out with me tomorrow night. And then Sunday mornings, I am going to be playing Candela Obscura on Pantsless, and that's a whole lot of fun. It'll be our second episode, and there's creepy giggling in a dark house with no lights in it. So, come and watch me be terrified. Otherwise, it's kind of all I've got going on right now.
All right, and to talk about themselves and then take us out, I guess, is Kian.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kian. My pronouns are they, them. You can find me on the interwebs at uptight-chiffon, mainly over on Blue Sky. That's the only place I am anymore. I have never sent this many DMs to somebody.
Just watching them roll in.
I have been screaming at William since this game ended. Actually, the whole game, honestly, I've been screaming. I have so many emotions, but what I'm gonna do is go through the Entropy Emporium channel stuff because I am in a lot of these things. Obviously, this is our last Monday with Fall of the Ashen Throne. Stay tuned. We desperately want more, so hopefully there will be more. We'll see. Every other Tuesday, They Call Us Villains, a horror mask actual play GM'd by JD. Every other Thursday, God Complex, a Girl by Moonlight actual play GM'd by Will. Every other Friday, Weird Wilds War, a 5e actual play GM'd by JT. We are working on rescheduling the last half of the finale of Blooming in the Rot, our Invisible Sun actual play GM'd by myself. And every Saturday, for a couple more weekends, Godkiller Desecration GM'd by myself. I've got one more project coming up that I'm really excited about, but I can't talk about yet. Follow me on social media. That is where you will see it first. One day, I'm going to remember about the raid, but until then, I'm going to forget it every single time. So sit tight.
Yeah, Tales from the Table still doing charity Monster of the Week stuff.
Perfect. We are going to raid Tales from the Tables, Tales from the Table Studios. Definitely give them comments in chat. Let them know who sent you. Donate if you can. They are still doing some charity stuff. Give them views. I don't know, all of the things. We loved having you. This was a phenomenal game. Thank you so much for hanging out. We will set up the raid shortly. So sit tight. Just hang out, everybody. That's all I got, William.
This was fun. See y'all soon.